is the Cruel Fan Sports Podcast, Week 3 NFL edition. Josh Philo, Whitney Dowds, Ryan Collins here with you.
Yeah.
We are back and better than ever for the 2 weeks in a row now. This is crazy. Did we do last week? I can't even remember.
Yeah, we did last week, and we came up with a name. You forgot. It's the Cruel Fan Sports Hour.
All right, the Cruel Fan Sports Hour. There's a lot that's been happening on, folks. There's a lot's been going on in my life personally this last week, so you know. Well, Cruel Fan Sports Hour, I'm into that.
Sponsored by Ice Shaker.
Yeah. Gronk Brothers.
Yep, I got mine here.
Ooh. How's the shake doing? Is it nice and cold?
It's pretty cold.
Ooh.
Pretty damn cold.
What kind of shake you got?
Well, right now I don't have any kind of shaking. It's just Powerade in there. That's the shake. But yeah, we're gonna play a game towards the end of the show here. That the end of the sports hour, and that will be sponsored by Ice Shaker. Play a little trivia game. So stay tuned for that.
And just to let everybody know at home, yes, I am in my car.
It's not bad.
Just to let everybody know.
Good looking car.
It looks better than this, right?
Yeah.
Like I could just
those
show
two lights.
The two lights, the dome light. I could put the dome light on too. That'd probably be better for backlighting.
That's not bad. I need one of those. As long as you don't, as long as your car battery doesn't die, that would be kind of.
That would be
tragic.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of a rich neighborhood. They're gonna think something's wrong.
What is this guy doing? All right. Yeah. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's talk about the Lakers versus Heat. First of all, I'd like to give a little shout out to the Celtics. Great fight for the most part, except the last series. Everything else was fine. They made a good run into the playoffs, and of course, that last series before they get to the finals, they just can't get over the hump there. Did you guys see the game last night?
I did. I saw bits and pieces of it. Like I said, it's been a crazy week, people, but I saw the important parts. And I mean, I don't think it's necessarily what the Celtics didn't do. I just think it's what the Heat did do. You know what I mean? I think Jimmy Butler is on a mission, and he's been trying to prove that he can be the man ever since he was in Chicago years ago. And he's been like pounding on his chest, and him and Derrick Rose were like they basically tore that team apart, trying to battle for supremacy. So, and I think he's finally showing it now down in Miami. And so I think it's more what Butler did as opposed to what Stevens and the boys didn't do.
My issue is I think that, let's focus on first the things that the Heat did well. They were able to pass around the ball a lot more than the Celtics were. They also were able to, they weren't that great at defending, really. They weren't. They had a couple good plays, but for the most part, it was the Celtics missing shots that really led to more turnovers and things like that. It wasn't really that the Heat players were doing an amazing job defending. They were doing just enough to squeak by. That being said, on the offensive side of the ball, they were able to let each person kind of have their night. And what the Celtics couldn't do during the series is basically everyone wanted to play this ISO style ball where all of a sudden it'd be, Tatum's turn, then it'd be Brown's turn, then it'd be, different players on the court would take advantage of the situation and drive to the net and then end up missing, and no one would get the rebound. They need to add, I think going forward, they need to add a better player, a better center. They can't have Tice. I don't know if it's time for Taco or what the situation is. That would be cool if he can maybe beef up a little bit, but they need to.
Oh, beef up or chicken up.
Yeah,
or they need to up, whatever.
They need to do something come this offseason. I'm a little worried about Brad Stevens. I don't know that I think they should keep him, but I don't know that everybody has that same feeling. I mean, this is them going to the Eastern Conference Final and not making it to the next level a couple years now. So it's kind of disappointing at the same time. It's hard to get rid of a coach that has shown such progress as him, to get him to the Eastern Conference Final and then not make it. It's hard to say, oh, well, we need to put somebody else in there. Interestingly enough, the Clippers released Doc Rivers today, which I could absolutely see them bringing back Doc Rivers and playing that out. I like Stevens. I think that He definitely has done well for the team, but there is something that maybe I think almost he allows the team to dictate what happens more than he dictates what happens. I think he allows the stars, Tatum, Brown, to really like make their more decisions, and then he backs them up. Where, well, Rivers kind of got into a situation with the Clippers there and didn't do. I mean, no excuse for their play this year, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in the future with the coaching. But and this is a big year for Tatum. Do you let Tatum go? You sign him to a long-term deal. You give him a 6-year deal or a 5-year deal or something like that. It's kind of interesting to see what will happen with him. He's obviously looking for that big money year this year, so we'll see.
Go ahead, Whit. You got something, Whit? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, first on the Doc Rivers thing. I mean, they've blown what 3-1 leads under Rivers.
Yeah.
In LA. So, is it really that surprising that they let him go? No, not really. You can only have so many chances, especially with. I mean, obviously it wasn't with the same group every time, but when you have that level of failure. And that level of a collapse that many times, it's going to come back to haunt you. Obviously it's a different sport, but just ask the Falcons how that's going right now with blowing big leads and what that potentially could do to a coaching staff because you have a level of talent there. You have, continuity and everything, but something happens in the biggest moments where they're just not producing and it's costing them series. So, there's only so much of that an ownership group will take and a fan base too.
Yeah.
I think Doc is still riding that wave from when he won the title in 2008. You know,
yeah.
I really think they're still this like same with Aaron Rodgers. They're like, they won a title so long ago.
Yeah.
And they gave him the keys to the castle out in LA. And I mean, they reinvigorated, the whole that franchise, and then Baumer came in and all that stuff. But I mean, yeah, he can get to a certain point, but he doesn't have any Hall of Famers on that team. I mean, maybe Kawhi Leonard, I guess he's over, but he doesn't have the big three with plus Rondo like he did in Boston when they were making those finals runs and actually winning titles and stuff. So I don't know. I mean, he's a good coach. Obviously, he knows what he's doing. I mean, maybe it's like the Nick Foles effect. He's only good in Boston, like Nick Foles is only good in Philly, even though he come in Chicago and won a game.
Oh yeah,
but,
he did good.
I don't know though. I don't know. I think the Doc well might be drying up. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think it's hard to say whether he'd go out like this. I think it just depends where he goes. Like, I think if it's not like a team where he can actually see them winning a title, I don't think that it's really smart for him to actually take but if he's not ready to go, then, people take bad deals or bad teams and just to kind of, finish out their legacy kind of thing. But
could you see him coming back to New York, but going to Brooklyn? Ooh.
Yeah, that could be interesting. Yeah.
If KD, because he played for the Knicks, Doc did back in the day, and I mean, but that franchise is such a shit show. I mean, I wouldn't want to go. I mean, me personally, I wouldn't want to go there.
You wouldn't, you wouldn't sign there.
I wait for a way better opportunity.
It's coming soon.
Yeah, it's coming. But I could see that happening, like going to Brooklyn. I think that could be a fun, or maybe. Yeah, I'll stick with Brooklyn. I would say Toronto, but I don't think he wants to pay taxes twice.
Yeah, that's what's so frustrating about the Celtics this year is like they got rid of the Bucks were out, right? And they didn't have to deal with Irving and KD. So now when next year comes around, now like the division just became so much harder than what it was before. Like there's just so much more to it. It's already like incredibly hard to make it as far as they did. Period. But now to actually make a run at the finals, and let's just say, okay, I don't think there's a way that the Lakers lose now going against the Heat. The Heat they played well and everything like that, but the only chance that we had at stopping LeBron from getting another title was the Celtics, and it would have been good for basketball. Celtics versus Lakers, everybody loves it.
Well, that would have been good.
But now it's Lakers versus Heat, and I'm thinking that they sweep them. I'm thinking the Lakers just sweep them.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I don't know.
I mean,
I mean, go ahead,
God.
Court, or Whit.
Oh.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Whit.
I was gonna say, remember Eric Spoelstra was LeBron's head coach in Miami when he was, there, and so there's some familiarity. I'm not trying to guarantee anything or anything, but I don't buy the whole sweep thing because, they have a good team. It's, obviously, like you talked about before, they can spread the ball around and they don't rely on just one person to do all the work.
Yeah.
That was the Celtics' downfall, really, in the series. But this is a different team. Obviously, they're not like the most, at least on paper, you wouldn't think they're the most talented team, but they made it this far. So, and like I said, that familiarity with, Spoelstra and LeBron, maybe.
Yeah, so I'll give you two things. It's either a sweep or it's a gentleman's sweep. It's a 3-1, or it's like it's a one game. They win one game out of the series. I don't know what you think.
Wow. I don't know. I don't. I mean, like, I want LeBron to win another one. Just to
You do?
Because it's going to piss everybody off. It's going to be awesome. I want to win another one. I want him to win 6 or 7, and then they really have the Michael Jordan debate. You know what I mean? I really want him I want him to get at least 6, so they can have, like, they can really the debate can really get even. They can talk about something else.
Yeah.
Well,
They can reinvigorate the entire thing.
Just imagine what First Take is going to be like every day.
Oh, I know it's going to be terrible. It's going to be terrible.
What's it called? The show on FS1 with Skip Bell, whatever that.
Oh,
show's
Undisputed.
called.
They
Yeah,
got
thank
Lil
you.
Wayne to do the theme song. It is hilarious.
Really?
But anyway, but I think it's Lakers in 6. I don't think. I mean, like Bam Adebayo is no joke. He's playing lights out. He's playing like possessed. Like I said, Butler can guard anybody. He can guard. I mean, not anybody. He can guard 4 positions. He can at least like I think he's as tall as LeBron. He's not. I don't think he weighs as much as LeBron, but he can probably, he might be able to give LeBron. Slow him down a little bit, you know what I mean? But like the AD is going to be the X factor.
Yeah.
I think if he can get going and he can make those outside shots and he can get get in there and play some defense, get some blocks and at some crucial times. I think they'll get it done. I mean, I didn't even realize that like the Lakers have somehow been going under the radar, to me anyway, this year. I mean, I guess, outside of the whole pandemic.
Yeah.
But I always thought that, I just never – I don't know. I just oh, yeah, the Lakers. Yeah. And then all of a sudden now they're rolling. I'm like, yeah, they're going to win.
Well, they weren't like great at some points in the season, but
right.
I think just like when it gets time to the finals, like LeBron just flips another switch. You saw a little bit in the last game. I don't know if you watched it, but the last game versus the Nuggets, they he got I don't know, 8 points at the very end of the game. And nobody else got the ball but him. He just he's like, okay, I'm gonna finish this out, and he just shot until the game was over, basically. And I don't know. I just think that to be that confident and at that part, I just think the Heat's a good story, and it's like the underdog and everything like that. But when it comes down to it, they might be ahead in the third quarter, but when the fourth quarter comes around, LeBron's just going to finish the game out. And unfortunately, I don't want to see him win another one, but.
Yeah, I mean, I think the championship DNA, I mean, I guess Spoelstra has it on the Heat, but nobody else on that team has won a title, I don't think, on the Heat. I mean, they got those young guys, they got some, like Ryan said, really good stories, like Tyler Hero, awesome story.
20 years old.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler, awesome story. I mean, the whole thing, just being in the bubble, right, and getting there. Yeah. And surviving all this madness and craziness to get to this far is still crazy, but I think I just think it's still the Lakers' time, and then LeBron will get his own mountain.
Yeah. They were saying
North
something
Mountain.
too about, and I'd like to hear you guys' theory on it, that basically, the Celtics allowed family members to come back in, but like the Heat didn't, I think. They didn't let visitors or whatever. They decided as a team to keep that out. I'm not sure if it was all the way through, but I think it was. So how do you think that could affect, the outcome of games? Do you think having a family member there like helps you or hurts you during a game?
Like
I
in
think it.
the
Yeah, go ahead, Whit.
stadium or in the arena.
Yeah, in the
Oh,
in the
direct
arena, but like
yeah.
also just like they kept on flashing Deuce, who's Jason Tatum's son, and he he's like on his iPad and stuff like that. Like they kept on flashing to him when Tatum would score a point, and like the kid's like not even paying attention. But it just seemed like more of a distraction maybe for Tatum, or is that like more like of a relief that his son is there, he gets to see
Yeah.
him, and then they do good.
That's kind of. I'm not sure. That's kind of where I'm at. Like, I feel like it could go. I guess it depends on what kind of person you are. For me, I mean, it's not like they're down there for like a weekend. You know what I mean? They've been there like 3 months,
Yeah.
and like not being able to see, like if you have young kids or you have kids and you have family and stuff, and you actually love them, it might be tough to like go 3 months without seeing them. But if it's like you don't really like them and you're like, sweet, let me get out of there for 3 months,
Yeah.
it might be different. But I could see it. Also, if they come in like 2.5 months into this thing, do you know what I mean? Like you've got on a regimen, you've got on a schedule of like what you do. This is how I do it. It's like training camp or whatever. I'm just with the team, and now all of a sudden you throw in the family and like that whole thing, and you bring your wives down. Oh, see, I
Yeah.
think it was just I think it would disrupt too much.
Well, what they were saying is that, like especially when Gordon Hayward came back, I guess the nickname for Gordon Hayward of the other like wives and family members is like Steven's son. Like they all call him like he's putting his son in because Hayward was getting too many minutes. So I wonder if that like starts creating kind of animosity and just like bad blood between the players and stuff. They seem like a lot better together, although they did have a little freak out right before or after I think game 1 of the series, and they like started yelling at each other. There was a lot of noise from the locker room, which I think is okay when you have a loss. Like people kind of exaggerate it, but it's okay to have that when there's a loss. It's kind of good for the team, except when it gets real personal. So then I wonder, what actually was said during that and everything. What do you think, Whit?
I mean, yeah, there are fights in locker rooms or disagreements in locker rooms all the time. How much it actually affected? Well, obviously they lost the series. I guess it did. If it was game related and like scheme related or whatever, I don't know exactly. I don't know if the report ever came out what actually was said in the locker room. But if it's like scheme related or like I said, minutes related to a player who's maybe not doing. I don't know Gordon Hayward's numbers off the top of my head, so I apologize if I'm not making sense. But if he wasn't doing well in a certain lineup and was struggling, and he's getting extra minutes that somebody else could have, that absolutely could cause problems in a locker room. But at the same time, I mean, every locker room or every sideline, whatever, there are disagreements, and some of them you just don't see. If they come out, they come out. But I'm sure it happens in locker rooms all the time.
I think they're pissed he's getting all these minutes and he can't stay healthy for a year for like the past 3 years. I'd be like, man, fuck you. I'll just stay healthy and before you start taking my minutes.
Yeah,
that's what I think. And that mustache pissing everybody off too, I would think.
So is there anybody that thinks out of the three of us that thinks that the Heat can win?
No, I still give the Lakers the advantage.
Yeah. Just like your boy KG used to say, anything's possible.
Right.
Anything's possible. But I don't think
possible.
I mean, they could win. I mean, they could get possessed. I mean, if AD or LeBron goes down, it's over.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, just with if Butler goes down or if Adebayo goes down, it's over.
Yeah, the Heat do have a better chance of winning if a star player goes down, though, just because it is more of a, if they lose LeBron,
Right.
they're not winning.
No,
They're not winning with AD. But the Heat have a better chance that if Jimmy Butler goes down. I still think that they have more players are getting the ball more. They spread it out more, and they're spreading out the points, and it's someone's night. Like notice Hero had that huge game, and it was his night and everything like that. He had like 5 points the next game. Like it's like
Right.
they were able to let other people. Anyway, let's move on. MLB playoffs, the wild card. Looking forward to just kind of like some of these matchups here. One being Yankees versus the Indians. I'm interested in that series just because I think the Yankees just couldn't do enough to get higher up, and now at the they were a 500 team for a lot of the season. And now it'll be interesting when they play a team like the Indians. The Indians are doing quite well. It'll be interesting to see that matchup. Another one, the Brewers and Dodgers, kind of interesting whole matchup there. I'd love to see the Astros just get knocked out by the Twins. That would be awesome.
A clean sweep would be nice.
Clean sweep. The thing about them too is they basically like limped into the playoffs. Like any other year, they wouldn't have been in the playoffs, but because they're basically like a 500 team getting into the playoffs. Another cool matchup, the Marlins and Cubs. That will be interesting.
Can't believe the Marlins are in the playoffs.
I know they really turned it around. I've been against the Marlins for a long time, mostly because of Derek Jeter, but it'll be interesting to see if they can actually make a little bit of a run here, because they're doing pretty well. They're not a bad club here. I think people overwhelmingly love the Cubs more than the Marlins, but
well, yeah.
But we'll see how that all plays off. Another matchup, the Padres and Cardinals. I'm all for Slam Diego. I'd like to see that kind of.
I love that they changed their uniforms back to the brown.
Yeah.
Screw that blue nonsense. They're not. That's not. No.
Right.
No. Need that Ozzie Smith, the poop brown and the pea yellow, old school '70s Padres. Those are my junior high colors, so I can say that.
The team above all that I would like to see win here is the Athletics, the Oakland A's. I would love to see them finally get one for Billy Beane, even though it would be a short season, kind of a fluke World Series win. I think
fluke.
Well, I mean, I think there is something to it. The Red Sox did the smart thing. They decided, you know what, we're just going to throw this season away. It's COVID. Let's just go out there, hit some balls. Let's not take it serious. Let's just, hit the ball around and just relax a little bit, watch the grass grow. And they took the right approach.
Not cheat.
Not cheat.
Please. Not cheat. Maybe take a year off from cheating.
Please.
And what are you talking
It's
about?
the fan base. It's the fan base. Like a guy that worked there kind of got excited. He wanted his team to do good. That's not cheating. No one listened to him. If the Astros actually went out and decided to cheat. Red Sox just kind of like it fell into their lap and they decided not to use it and everybody blamed them.
That's not any better. I mean, I hate saying this as a Red Sox fan, but that's not really any better than what Houston does.
Whitney.
Because being a bystander to a crime, how is that any better than committing the crime?
You didn't commit it. You're just standing there, and if somebody comes up and gives you the combination to a safe and you don't use it and you don't steal the money, should you be locked up? No, you shouldn't. You had the opportunity, but you decided not to. The Astros went out there and purposely, and you can see it now. Look at their averages this year. Look at how bad they're hitting this year. All 300 and above hitters last year. Now all of a sudden they're in the 200s, like low 200s. All their averages have dropped. And don't get me wrong. There is more cheating to be. Definitely more cheating to be uncovered in this whole MLB organization.
I'm sure teams are cheating right now. I'm sure teams are cheating. They're just
Yankees being one.
Of course. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. I'm totally on board.
The Dodgers
with that,
being another. I know that the Dodgers are cheating.
No way, bro.
Oh, absolutely. The
Dodgers need to get to the World. They deserve to win, man. They got hosed twice, man.
Well, if they don't win
cheaters.
this year, if they don't win this year, Dave Roberts' job could be in jeopardy too. Look at what they've even before this whole Houston Astro Red Sox
Yep.
cheating thing came about. Even before that even happened, they have not been to a World Series since what 1988. And Kershaw, like his playoff resume is like
Yeah.
Titanic.
Terrible. Yeah, it's pretty
You
bad.
know, sorry for that reference, but
No,
it is.
it'll be interesting to see. They need to make a run at it. I'm predicting that the Oakland A's can get it done this year. They can get it done. They have a really good team. They can make it done. They're on my pick. Do you guys have a pick? Who you'd
Dodgers.
like? Dodgers?
To win the whole thing?
Yeah, it's not the Phillies. The Phillies had to win 3 games. They had to win. No, they had to win 1 game out of 3 games, and they couldn't win 1. They couldn't win 1. Some other teams, like they went through all this list. I saw this list on TV today. It was like another team had to win like 1 of 6, or they had to go 2 of 7, and they lost. Like they only won 1 of 7. Like it's just.
Well, hey, they didn't want to have like that when the Phillies would have won it, they would have won it. Obviously, they just didn't want to to answer all those. Yeah, it's just it's a fluke, like Ryan was saying. It's a fluke championship. They didn't want to have that, so they just took themselves out of it.
All right,
that's all.
That makes sense. I agree to that logic.
I don't agree with the fluke thing because you're given you're dealt the hand you're dealt. Like no one was expecting this to happen. So you're dealt the hand you're dealt.
Well, there are a little bit of rumors going around that the Yankees have actually planted the virus. I did hear that a couple times because
they do have a lot of Chinese ties.
Yep, they wanted to just hit the home runs and get into the. I mean, it's hearsay, but there might be some truth to it.
They probably corked all their bats too, I'm sure.
Yeah. So the Eagles this week. They actually managed to somehow tie.
Yeah, they did.
The Bengals.
They chose to tie.
Yeah, they chose.
Yeah, they were masters of their own destiny, and they decided to go for the tie.
Okay, that's something I actually would like. Besides the horrible play, besides the interceptions, besides Carson Wentz, obviously a dumpster fire.
Forgetting how to play football. Sorry.
Holding call.
Yeah. Besides all that, the choice at the end to punt the ball when there's a minute left, and just you're on the 50-yard line, I think they were, or whatever, and they decide to punt it, and then the Bengals still had time on the clock, and they just decide oh no, we're not going to do it. I think it was 3rd down. It wasn't even they just ran the clock out. Yep, and we're just and I forget who the announcer was, but he basically made the point of, they're lucky that fans were in the stadium because there would be so many boos. How can you just give up and just be we're done? There's no way. Imagine the Patriots doing that. This just never would happen.
No,
and they were in Philly too. Yeah, there would be no more. There'd be bodies being thrown onto the field.
Just
man. I blame the offensive lineman who decided to do a false start at the worst possible time.
It's true.
How do you false start on a 59-yard field goal? That's the play that lost the game. Well, obviously there are a lot of other ones, but that was the deciding factor because try a 64-yard field goal. What if it gets blocked?
But even at that point, just who cares? There's a minute left in the game. Go for the 64-yard field goal. He hit from 63, I think they were saying, before the game. So whatever, just try it. You're on the 50-yard. Have a little bit of faith in the defense. Go for the field goal. Just, I don't know. I think that you got to go for it at that point. It's in overtime. It's not if it was the 4th quarter, that's a different situation.
Yeah.
Punt the ball. That's fine. You're in overtime. You're going to punt
but then
for
overtime. But then overtime, so what? The Bengals. Okay, so they attempt the field goal and they miss it. So then the Bengals get the ball back at the 50, and then
assuming they can do anything.
Right, but then they would just need to get a field goal, or they would have to go for a touchdown then, wouldn't it? Because
it was just a field goal at that point.
Field goal wins.
It was just okay. Still okay.
Yeah, you just need a field goal.
They're playing the field position game. I mean, he was playing the field position game, which is hilarious to think about. I didn't think Peterson just needed to get – he couldn't go 0-3.
Yeah, he just needed
like, I
the
can't
tie,
go
even though
0-3.
like it doesn't matter for anything. It's just like, oh yeah, we'll just take the tie. I mean, I get it, I guess.
I mean,
to a
it helps.
certain
I mean, the Cowboys lost, so that helps. You know what I mean? Like, it's really just the Eagles and the Cowboys, or I shouldn't say. Everyone's going to be chasing the Cowboys, I think, in the division.
Hey, the
'Cause there's no way.
Washington football team's not bad.
Nice turn.
They're not
That'd be
bad.
amazing if they won the Super Bowl this year. Wouldn't it be hilarious?
Yeah.
the Washington football team wins the Super.
They're
be
just
like
talking about how they're gonna keep that name. Like they're just gonna like ride that
should.
one out. I
It'd be
don't know.
amazing.
It's just so bad. Like the logo's terrible. It's just a W. Like the
It's a
whole
dumpster
thing.
fire.
Yeah, the whole thing is just bad. But like, hey, who did they beat?
The Eagles.
The Eagles. So not bad. Anyway, Pat's game. What do you think, Whitney?
I mean, I said it in my article. Rex Burkhead took over. Well,
Yep.
Sonny Michel too, but I think the biggest relief for me was the defense because yes, they had 2 drives that didn't go well, but outside of 2 touchdown drives, they only gave up 6 points.
Yeah.
And on top of that, the 2 strip sacks, the one at midfield, which I forget if that led to a field goal or to a touchdown, but that led to points. And then the strip sack in the end zone essentially iced the game. But
Yeah.
you know, the Raiders, I mean, they played good in the first half and just disappeared in the second half. So
Yeah, it was surprising to me after seeing the Raiders the first 2 weeks how well they played to just once again just see the Patriots dominate defensively. I mean, like they couldn't even like get. I mean, Waller I think had like 2 catches, like
both in the second
and
half. Yeah.
the game before, he must have had like 14 of them, like like and was crazy fantasy wise, like good points. Anyway, the Patriots just prove again and again that they have a better defensive team than you, which just ends up being okay. We can kind of squeak by with our offense. They didn't use Cam as much. I don't know if there was, at the end of the last game, you did see Cam kind of grab the hamstring, kind of have some issues with that. So you didn't see him run as much. But when he does, every time I think Tom Brady couldn't do that. Every single time I'm just like, Tom Brady couldn't do that.
There's so many times I said that yesterday too.
And he's passing the ball well. If you see, like, he has a weird throw, but when he actually gets the ball going, it is a perfect spiral, is a perfect pass. He also has some crazy misses, but it's mostly the short passes that he misses. It's all the dump passes or whatever. He'll miss that, but he definitely took advantage of the screen pass with Burkhead and Sonny Michel. I mean, they broke out a couple big runs in general, but yeah, it's just a change, right? Like every week they just do something different than what was expected before. I really, Edelman was basically almost like non-existent in the game. The game before, he was catching everything on the field. This game, he's like not even really a factor much of the game. So
that's how the Patriots roll, though. That's how Billy Boy does it, right?
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, the great teams. No, go ahead, Josh. Sorry.
I mean, I think, I just think, like Burkhead, putting the load on Burkhead and Michelle. I think that was by design. I think that was the part of the game plan the whole week.
Yeah.
I think that was just what they prayed. Like, all right, we're just gonna run it down their throats. James White's out. He's dealing with a family tragedy, emergency, whatever you want to call it. Death as a death in the family.
Yeah, his father died.
Yeah. That's sad for the White family and all that. But yeah, so I think it was just by design that they were going to do that. Like, they were heavy on Cam the first 2 weeks, and then they're like, all right, let's come off of that a little bit and let's just show them that. So yeah, I mean, Patriots are just so well coached. It's just disgusting.
Yeah,
it's disgusting.
It's disgusting. All right, let's talk a little bit about the Falcons and Bills. Let's talk about the Falcons first versus the Bears. I actually did, if you look at my Cashman with Collins picks for last week, I'm actually on a roll, quite a bit of a roll. It's perfect besides a push first week. Second week, I think I had one missing, and this week I had one again. But the one pick that I did have was the Bears. What did you think about the game, Whitney? What is the reaction to the Falcons? Again, just being a dumpster fire.
I mean, blowing another 15-point lead in a big game. I mean,
It's the
I don't
Bears
know
too.
else what to say because it's the third time in 3 or 4 years that's happened, and they're the first team to do it in back-to-back games.
They're the first team. So they're the first team for it to happen in a season at all, but they did it back-to-back games.
Yeah.
So in 20 NFL seasons, no other team had been up by 15 points and lost in the fourth quarter. And they did it in back-to-back games. Let's get the Cowboys and then the Bears. Josh, what do you think about Nick Foles there coming in?
I mean, I think it's great. I mean, I think that is where he thrives. He cannot be the man.
Yeah.
He has to be. He has to like.
He has to be the Cinderella story.
He has. Yeah. He has to be. He's got this hero complex. I guess he has to be the hero. Like you saw when he gets the starting job wherever he goes. Now, granted, that's coupled with shitty organizations like under Jeff Fisher, obviously trash. Like he did okay, but he was a backup in KC when he was backing up Alex Smith when he was with Andy Reid, and Doug Peterson, and Matt Nagy was down there too, So now he's back with Nagy, so that's good. And I think it's a good situation as long as he's in that eagle tree. Yeah, Eags. But yeah, I don't think he's got some weird something. It's a mental.
It's got to be a come from behind win, and it's got to be he's the underdog. It can't be a situation where he'll do terrible. If they play Cleveland or whatever, he'll do terrible against teams like that. But if he's the complete underdog, they'd probably beat the Patriots somehow. It would just be they wouldn't. But it would be.
Already did.
Well, he did. But
he already did.
Well, a lot of pass interference, a lot of
you remember that?
There's a lot
Underman secondary.
a lot going on in that last play. But anyway, Mahomes versus Jackson tonight. Big game, big matchup,
huge,
crazy
huge.
game, awesome in general. I think I don't know that I think Mahomes and the Chiefs were favored. I'm not sure by what, but it's got to be close.
Yeah.
What do you think about this game? The Chiefs kind of have been limping along winning, and I'm actually kind of thinking that this game could be the game that Baltimore wins versus Mahomes.
Go ahead, Whit.
Yeah, I just think the amount of talent, just overall that KC has with their speed, what's the running back's name? The rookie running back.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah, he's a great story, but Kelsey, Harmon, Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, that speed.
They definitely have more talent.
Insane. And hard to cover. You can't double cover one and because you're leaving somebody else open. So
yeah.
And Mahomes is we know what kind of talent he has.
Yep. And we know Lamar Jackson is a choke artist in the playoffs. Josh, what do you think?
Ooh, pulling no punches here, aren't you, Rye?
It's Cruel Fan for a reason, I guess.
Let's not forget Lamar Jackson's trash come December.
Trash MVP.
He's good, but I think
Mahomes is better. Mahomes is better. He's got better. I think Lamar Jackson's got a little bit more athleticism.
Oh yeah, he's a better athlete.
But I think Mahomes just has it up here. Way more.
Lamar would kick his ass in a fight. There would be no Mahomes.
I don't know.
Oh, Lamar would kick his ass in a fight.
I don't know.
Look at the hair. Everything about him just screams just do not corner me in a bad situation. This guy would kill you. You don't think so? Lamar, Patrick Mahomes looks just so nice. He looks like a teddy bear, basically.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway.
Then he was, I got nothing.
He's a good quarterback. I'm not saying he's not, but he's a groomed quarterback. He's not, Lamar's gritty, fight to the death. He's just, I don't know. Anyway, I got him on my fantasy team tonight, so I'd like to see him do well. We're going to play a little game here.
Yes.
Cruel Fan Sports. I'm calling it Boom or Bust Trivia.
Ooh.
Sponsored by Ice Shaker. So Whitney and Josh will be playing against each other in the first ever Cruel Fan Sports Boom or Bust Trivia. So basically,
wait, I gotta hydrate. Let me hydrate.
What do you got? Mad Dog 50 or
No. Oh
Mad Dog
God.
60? I don't
Mad Dog 2020. No, I got a little. I got the Fina.
Oh yeah,
I got the
20.
Fina.
See, you know what it was. You act like, oh, I would never drink that. You know exactly what it is.
Oh,
I
but
drank that
was like,
before. It's like
drank-
it's like a weird wine. Like it's like
it's like a wine cooler. It's terrible. It's terrible. And Mad
Yeah.
and Mad Dog. That's not the MD20. It doesn't even stand for Mad Dog. It stands for something else.
Oh really? I
But
just
everyone
call
just
it Mad
assumed
Dog.
it was. I know everyone did, and then it's called like not Mad Dog 2020. I was like, ew, that's.
I saw
makes
Four
that-
Loko came out with like a similar type bottle size with anyway. Interesting. That brings back college memories. Anyway.
No.
All right, so the first question, I'm gonna flip a coin here.
Heads.
Okay, it is heads.
Ooh.
So Josh, you get the first question.
Oh,
So basically the way this works, I'll give a question. If you get it right, you get to pick between two better players. If you get it wrong, you get to pick between two worse players. The goal at the end of this is after tonight's game, whoever's team has the more fantasy points will win a ice shaker.
Oh,
So
I
cool.
like that.
Cruel Fan Sports Boom or Bust Trivia sponsored by Ice Shaker.
I'm nervous.
This is a 26-ounce double-walled vacuum insulated bottle. Will hold ice for over 30 hours in a 75-degree room when filled with just ice and water. So keep your drink cold for 24 hours, and the 36 ounces will hold ice for well over 40 hours if you fill it just with ice.
Wow.
So it features, this one's a little bit different because it has a straw top, but it features a removable twist and an agitator. This one does not have it, but we'll make sure you get the agitator one, which is good for mixing powder. So pick up your ice shaker in the link in the description. Check that out, iceshaker.com. Check that out. Link in the description will lead you right to there. And I believe they're offering 10% off right now, which is pretty good. And if you spend over a certain amount, you get a free item too. So
Get
check
those
that
gains.
out, Ice Shaker. Anyway, first question.
Gains.
Okay, this is between Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes.
Oh,
Which QB has more passing yards in the first 2 weeks of the NFL? Jackson or Mahomes?
Jackson.
Okay, you are wrong.
Wow.
So, because of that, you
Motherfucker.
have the choice of Darwin Thompson or Justice Hill. Darwin Thompson or Justice Hill?
I'm going Justice Hill. 'Cause
Okay,
Justice,
Justice
will serve, bitch. I think.
Okay,
Who is that guy?
he's just a guy. Okay,
Who's
He's
he,
the
who's he
third
playing
string,
for?
third string running back.
Justice
East.
Hill.
Good luck.
So Mahomes had 513 passing yards, and Jackson has 479. Okay, Whitney,
Yep.
your first question. Which QB has more total TDs in the first 2 weeks, Mahomes or Jackson?
Jackson.
Okay, you are wrong. So because of that, you have Darwin
Wow.
Thompson.
This is gonna be the worst fantasy game ever for us.
So both Lamar Jackson and Patrick
7
Mahomes
points
will
will
not
win
be
it.
on anyone's team this week. Okay,
That's amazing. It's amazing.
Going to Whitney first with this question.
I love
Alright.
this.
Which player is older, Kelsey or Mark Andrews?
Ooh.
Kelsey.
Kelsey is correct. Kelsey is 30 years old. Andrews is 24. So, Whitney, you have the choice. Would you like Travis Kelsey or Mark Andrews on your fantasy team tonight?
Kelsey.
Okay, Kelsey.
Oh.
Kelsey it is. Okay.
That mean I get Andrews?
No, it doesn't. You have to answer the question.
Oh,
Okay.
all right.
Who had more fantasy points in week one, Kelsey or Andrews? In week one, who had more fantasy points, Kelsey or Andrews?
Andrews.
Andrews is correct with 22.8 points. So you have the choice now. You can either pick Mark Andrews, Justin Tucker, or Harrison Butker.
The kickers? Why are you giving me the fucking kickers?
No, you
Give
have
me-
the choice. You could have Mark Andrews, the
Give
better
me
choice.
Andrews.
Okay.
But why you gotta throw?
Well,
You
it was
have
just
this tight
because
end.
they were the
They're
options.
They
were
are the
the
best
options.
two best kickers in
Yep.
the NFL though. But
Exactly. Okay, so this first question goes to Josh now. Who has more targets on the season, Marquise Brown or Tyreek Hill? Who has more
Oh.
targets on the season, Marquise Brown or Tyreek Hill?
I think it's Hill because I have Hollywood Brown on my team, on my fantasy team, and he has been getting dog shit. So I'm going Tyreek Hill.
All right, you are correct. Tyreek Hill has 17 targets. Brown has 12, which it was actually closer than what I thought it was going to be. But anyway,
Question.
who would you like, Tyreek Hill or Marquise Brown?
I will go Hill.
Okay.
The cheetah.
All right, Whitney.
Yep.
Who had more receiving yards in week 1? Hill, Marquise Hill. I mean, Tyreek Hill, sorry. Or Marquise Brown.
Tyreek Hill.
Oh, unfortunately, Hill had 46 yards in week 1, and Brown had 101. So you can pick between Demarcus Robinson or Willie Snead.
Demarcus
Ooh.
Robinson for the
Yeah.
one.
Okay.
That's a good pick, Whit. That's a
Mhm.
good pick. Willie Snead. He burned me so many times when he was on the Saints. Fuck that guy, man. It's like
Yeah.
Willie Snead. He's gonna do it for me
he's
today.
I've
definitely a boomer bust kind of guy. Like he
Yeah,
either
man.
has like 30 points or no points.
I've had him on
Oh.
my team on another fantasy league, and he did nothing for me. So
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I believe this question goes to Whitney first, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Where did Mark Ingram go to school?
Oh, come on.
Your choices are Texas, Clemson, or Alabama. Texas, Clemson, or Alabama.
Okay, so not Alabama. Texas or Clemson, you said?
Yeah.
Texas.
Okay, that is wrong. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
he did go to Alabama.
Damn it!
Oh my God, how'd you? Oh man.
So
that was a
you have
layup.
the choice. So Whitney, you have the choice between J.K. Dobbins or Darrell Williams.
Darrell Williams.
Okay.
Going very cheap savvy tonight.
All right. Josh, last question goes to you. Where
Ugh.
did Clyde Edwards-Helaire go to school? Florida,
Oh, bro.
LSU, or Notre Dame?
Go Tigers. Go Tigers. That's my Ed Ogeron impression.
All right. LSU is correct. Okay, so you have the choice between picking Clyde Edwards-Helaire or Mark Ingram. Now remember, Mark Ingram gets a lot of,
I know.
He gets a lot of touchdowns.
I'm gonna go Ingram because he is nuts.
Okay.
I'll go Ingram.
Mark Ingram. Okay, so the teams go as follows. Whitney has Darwin Thompson, Travis Kelsey,
All right.
Demarcus Robinson, and Darrell Williams. And Josh has Justice Hill, Mark Andrews, Tyreek Hill, and Mark Ingram.
Damn it.
So he got a little bit of catching up here to do tonight, but you never know what could happen.
Kelsey, hey man, Kelsey could go off, man.
Kelsey could be
12
big.
touchdowns.
All right, well, that's pretty much it for the Boom or Bust trivia game, Cruel Fan Sports, sponsored by Ice Shaker. Make sure to check out that link in the description. Boom or Bust trivia. What'd you guys think of the game?
I liked it.
Yeah?
I liked it, man.
I think it's kind of cool. A little spin on fantasy football. You got to know a little bit of trivia about fantasy football, but then also just general football knowledge in order to get different choices of games. Kind of like this player is behind door number 1 type game.
I like it.
Yeah.
I liked it. And I like just having the shitty players for.
Yeah.
So if you have a 4 points could win the game for you. If you have
Sure
a total of 4, it's
It sure
amazing.
could.
We'll
Sure
see.
could.
We'll see.
It's also interesting that neither team has gotten Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes on it, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, I love that. I love
I
it.
have to add up the.
That would have earned us so many points.
Yeah,
Just
it's like the
alone.
bench
Yeah.
warmers. It's the call-ups, the Cruel Fan call-ups. That's gotta.
Ooh, I like
Yeah.
that.
We might have to
Fan call-ups.
change the name there, but anyway, Josh, you want to run us out of here? And anybody else got anything to go?
Nope. All set.
Good to go for the
All
game.
right.
All last-minute predictions. Who will win? Whitney.
Chiefs by probably a field goal.
All right, let's not get cocky. Josh.
Chiefs by 2 touchdowns.
And I'm going with Baltimore. Baltimore will win this game. Okay.
Of course, they're going Baltimore.
Well,
All right. Well, thank you so much for Whitney Dowds, Ryan Collins. I'm Josh Philo. This has been the Cruel Fan
Sports
Sports Hour.
Sponsored by
Brought
Ice
to you
Shaker.
by Ice Shaker, the Gronk brothers. Go get yourself one. And I hope I win because I need myself a new water bottle. Let's
probably
roll,
will.
yo.
All right, cheers.
All right, boys. Thank you. Peace.